Hello and welcome to the Idiots Talking Podcast. My name is Braden.
My name is Given.
And my name's CJ.
Yeah, we finally, after this is our 7th episode, we've tried to get CJ on literally every single one, and he's finally here.
Well, you know what? It's been a long journey, man, but I'm finally glad I made it.
And by
man.
long journey, he means he was too busy eating steak to podcast with us.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's what he's doing before this episode.
Okay. That is true. That is very true. I had to get me some steak. It's free. Real estate.
I was like, I know it's not free.
Well, I mean,
I mean, you already paid for it via college.
Exactly. There you
but,
go.
I mean, that's $30,000.
Except you had to have a ticket to get it, and they
Wait,
gave you... Yeah.
Was it in the dining hall?
Yeah, no, they gave you a ticket when you go in.
Oh, so you can only get one. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, now that we've talked about
I'm
steak...
gonna stop you guys real quick. My Audacity is very, the lines are very thick, and I'm not even talking that loud.
Brief technical difficulties.
Okay, continue.
CJ, what's happening?
So, CJ,
how
was your
in
week?
general, or?
No, you were about to say something about steak.
Well, okay, yeah, no, I was going to say, what I was going to say was, in Audacity, there's that microphone.
No, we're not talking about that.
You know what?
We're
Fine.
done with that. It's done.
We're done. We finished our technical difficulties.
You know what? Whatever. Fine. Be that way. Anyway.
So, how was your week, CJ?
Well, busy. I haven't played a single game all week. Not since last Friday. Busy with CS 102 and game production class, coding all the time. That's always fun.
I was with CJ in his CS 101 class, so I'm curious, how is CS 102?
Well, the teachers outright said it's going to be more difficult than 101.
Is it the same teacher?
No, his name's Adam. Adam Burley, whatever. I'll have to look at it. Bayerly, I think it is. He's pretty cool, actually, but I'm not expecting it to be easy. However, I am putting in a lot more effort, so that's nice.
Thank God. This man never puts in effort when it comes to coding, and it always upsets me.
Well, I did decide to also help with, I bought a Udemy. Do you know what Udemy is?
It sounds familiar, so I'll say
It's
no.
basically like an online course thing. You can buy courses online and stuff.
Okay.
He suggested one for Java programming, so I got it, and I've been trying to go through that while also juggling everything else. So.
Oh, are you guys doing JavaScript?
Yeah, we're doing Java.
I am also learning a bit of JavaScript this semester.
Oh, in what class?
We have a scripting for animators class, and
Oh,
we go
okay.
over a
That's
bunch
pretty
of
cool.
stuff, but we started with JavaScript programming, so
Oh, there's Tyler.
So yeah, Tyler's CJ's roommate for any audio listeners.
Braden and Given.
You're right. I forgot
what
that
else have you been doing?
SoundCloud jacked our stuff.
There are no audio
Big
listeners.
fat memes. Well, I think CJ's talking to Tyler a little bit, like an unprofessional scrub lord. So, Braden, you said you had a lot of stuff to talk about.
You know what? There's not much to say about my week besides I've been
No,
really
let's
busy.
see if
and
CJ's
I'm
done with his week.
angry about it.
About being busy. Yeah, that's fair.
And I started work again.
All right. So I'm gonna. I usually just, with my weekend reviews in the past, just thought about a bunch of stuff, and I missed a bunch of things. And so what I did was every single day,
That makes me
I
happy.
wrote down
Good,
what was
man.
happening what happened that day, so I actually know what happened.
Turn this
Okay,
down.
so starting with Saturday.
Explain what the Rosebrook
Saturday,
is to
we
people who
all
don't
hung
know.
out at the Rosebrook in Dixon, and something else that happened. It's like a live music venue for local musicians to play at.
Chicanudo Soup is a
And
band that
There was an
Braden,
open
are you part
spot,
of
and
right
all
now?
of the Chicanudo Soup boys were going to be there.
Okay, well, there we go.
And
Just
so-
a little bit of more information for people who don't know.
Yes and no. It's
I know.
CNS is a very on and off band, and we decided to play an impromptu gig, but I didn't have any of my instruments with me. But my friend's band was playing right after us, so I just borrowed their stuff. which was all right.
Yeah, I
It
love
sounded
those.
all right.
I wish I was there.
Then we
That's
had
one of
a
my favorite things.
post Rosebrook.
It's a really
Mama's
late
Bowl
pizza with the
at Mama
boys. I mean,
Semino's.
with anybody, just chilling.
Yeah, like going to Bocce's.
Yeah.
That's not the same. Don't talk to me, CJ.
I got a story
what's,
for that one.
What's
though.
next,
Ooh.
Braden?
Bocce's probably isn't special. So then Sunday, I went to Polo to help clean up the theater after the masquerade ball that was like a week prior, and I was carrying
it's called a prop
box
dungeon.
up to the prop dungeon, and
There's
I
more than
completely
props in
biffed
there.
the
Like
last
it.
step.
So you biffed the
And I
last
fell.
step, and
That's what we call it. And then I put my hand into like the corner because it's on a landing, and then there's a
Bro.
separate set of stairs to go
delicious.
up. And right in that corner, there's 2 boards full of
Dang it.
rusty nails. And dude, I barely missed it, dude. My hand was like
I was expecting
on the
you to say
wall,
my hand
cuff
like
it,
dead
like,
ass
all
ran
my
into
fingers
them
were holding
nails.
it up.
I'm like, oh,
Dude.
tetanus shot,
Oh.
dude.
Dude, I would have
He
been
cuts
so
out.
upset. But then after that, we had movie night at my friend Miranda's house, and we had movie
Wait,
night.
is that your
and
first
then
time
we
watching a
watched,
Star
like,
Wars movie?
A quarter of Star Wars: A New
I'm
Hope,
so
Oh,
interested.
and then we just stopped.
Just-
not,
too long
not really.
enough.
I mean, you
Yeah.
still watched a little bit. I mean, you now can't
But
say
we
I've
didn't
never
finish
watched
it.
Star Wars. So.
But we didn't finish it, so
well, I think he has to fully watch it, but hey.
So he said
And
he
then-
stopped. I'm guessing it's because there was
and then we stopped. and then we
sexy
just-
time. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you
Shut
know
up.
it with them Star
I
Wars
thoroughly
movies.
embarrassed him.
God dang it, George Lucas.
Well, no, we stopped. No, we stopped and just talked, and we did talk about sexy time. Just because. Well,
Wow.
it was. There were 7 of
Brayden,
us.
you could have invited
And 6
me.
out of the
I
7
would definitely
were all
wouldn't have
couples.
driven out there.
So I was the only single one there, and that's what we all talked about a lot of the time. And I felt, and I also that day there was like an ice storm the previous night.
You are a fool.
And I fell
That's hilarious.
4 times.
I mean,
And
we all
3
know
of them were on
Braden
the
falls
ice. The
off.
other
How many
one was
times have
where
you
I
like
almost hit the nails.
sprained your ankle?
I was
many
there
times.
in gym when he did that once too.
Like 5 times.
You walked in.
I could've
Braden was
sworn-
like, "Hey,
No,
just
you
fell
weren't in
over."
You were in the gym class. I think
I
you
could have
came
sworn
in
that we had gym class together.
at some point. No, and then
Yeah, which happens
we
to be
did-
high school
but
stuff.
that we
Oh,
did
spoiler.
sophomore year. We're gonna talk. We haven't even talked about our main topic, but that's not important right now. And Monday I stayed in. I started to get a sore throat for like no reason. That's happened to me before, and it only lasted like that day. But then I found out what show we're doing at Timberlake this
You've
year,
done
which is a
before,
theater
right?
company I
Mhm.
do shows for in the summer.
Delicious.
And we're doing Addams Family, which is a show I did in high school, but we're doing it again. And then Tuesday I did nothing. Wednesday I did nothing.
Oh, I was really
Today
hoping you
I
would
did
just,
nothing.
Did you?
Recorded this podcast. It's
I was really
Valentine's
hoping you were just
Day,
going to be
and I put
listing
down
your
that
stuff,
Forever
and then you'd
Alone.
be like, and then I recorded this podcast, and then I masturbated, and then I went to
At
bed,
least-
and
Oh.
tomorrow and just kept talking as if it already happened.
Exactly. I was.
Same babes.
Here,
and then I wrote down
tip and
Forever
trick for
Alone
you.
on Valentine's Day
Buy
because
some
I am
Don't
chocolate,
listen
Forever
to
watch a
CJ.
Alone.
movie, you'll be fine.
Don't
And,
listen to CJ. He doesn't have any tips or tricks.
Bet. And then another thing that was just a theme throughout this week was I followed this one guy on Snapchat. I'm not gonna say his name so that no one goes and looks at his things. He posts like very like
this who I
gross and
think it is?
disgusting videos, but like most of the time they're funny. And he kept on
Oh,
like
God.
talking about this video called the dog video. And he's like, I'm gonna post the dog video. And then he went on Instagram Live. I watched him, and he described the dog video.
Don't
He ended up posting
give us a
the dog
light.
video.
A
That's what I'm
light.
gonna say.
Definitely.
What the
light.
dog
Yeah.
video was is what it is a little Okay, it's a little German Shepherd puppy.
Enough said. That's it.
Okay, yeah, I think we're done with that one. On to my week, guys.
So,
I can't say it light.
I mean,
Let's just say
I got one thing
I'm just
for
gonna.
Braden
I'm
when
just
he's
gonna
done.
say. I
watched
got
it
one more thing. I
multiple
did not
times.
watch it. Because I was scared to. And then another thing. Right before we started recording, I was watching Given's stream, and one
I'm
quote that
excited.
he said stuck with me that I wrote down word for word to share with you guys.
oh my gosh.
Gingerly
Hold on,
touched my
what was the
penis with 2
context of
fingers
it?
on one hand. That's it.
oh yeah. I mean,
I asked you if you washed your hands.
that's what went down.
Braden, for you. Bro.
What?
Nah, to finish your story first.
I think that was.
All right.
He's
So
done.
that's
Okay,
He has
well,
no
now
stories
that it's
left to
done.
tell.
So, do I know? Is this
That is the
guy?
story.
Is he notorious for posting stuff in like the Snapchat story? Oh. Nope.
yes, but he's no one we know. He's like a.
So okay,
He's like
so it's
a
not the guy I'm
mainstream.
thinking of. All right.
Not mainstream. He has a decent sized
I don't know.
following.
Sure, okay, can I say his name?
I don't know. Do you want to say his
You
I
name?
don't even
know
know what
him.
guy you're thinking of.
Okay, we'll
Yeah.
stick with no for now.
Do we know him?
You can talk about it
or
later.
her?
It's time for my
do.
week, guys. I got a job.
just say
Was
no.
that this week? I picked shifts for my job.
Yeah.
I'm just hearing about this.
I mean, we don't talk that often, so yes. I chilled at the rock wall for the whole time that my roommate was working there. And that was very
Nerd.
fun since nobody rock climbed. We just got to mess around the whole time. Big plays, boys. Braden, I'm not sure how in depth I went with this, so I'll give a brief recap, especially since he doesn't know. So, I had like a paper that I had to turn in, and I turned in the electronic version, and then when I needed to go to class, I left like 15 minutes early to go to the printer, and then it was like in a queue of 8, which had never happened to me, and so I email the teacher, I'm gonna be a little late, and then I sit there and I'm like 2 or 3 minutes late into class, but they've already started a little bit, so I just sit down and do it, and then end of class comes, and I have to go do leasing stuff for an apartment for next year. And so I just leave, and she says that she said, anybody who came in late, turn in your papers or whatever. But I didn't hear it, and I had to go do something anyway, like urgently. Like I literally left, went to my dorm, got a coat, sat out in the snow for over an hour. No, there's
Are
just
you
a little
telling
bit
the
of an
story because?
Okay.
CJ
So she has a
doesn't know
no
'cause he
late
talked
work
about this last
assignment.
week.
Oh God.
Okay? But my main problem with that is I emailed her beforehand that the printer was having trouble. I turned in the electronic document 3 hours before class, so she knows I had it done in time. And she's just like, I'm trying to teach you responsibility. That's why there's a no late work thing. But none of it is my fault. I would have had to known psychically that there was going to be 8 other people trying to print stuff and taking forever or something. And it's not like there was a line of people either. It was like an electronic queue. There's like no way I could have known anything or done anything about it. But she's like, I'm trying to teach you responsibility. And so I have a 10% on that assignment, because you get 10% for turning in the assignment electronically, and 0 because I didn't give her a piece of like the paper form. And then my other big problem is I turned in the electronic one. So why didn't she just like
Download that or something?
Yeah, but she's just like, nah. Yeah, I know you had it done in time, but
Who is this? Who's this?
it is my English teacher. I honestly don't know her name offhand, but I probably shouldn't be.
Which English? Like what course level?
I won't bash it because people can look it up.
All right,
have
that's
to buy the
fair.
website.
That's fair.
But it's fine. It's just really annoying. Like, it's a dumb situation.
Sounds like a professor we had for 150 to me.
I don't know. I have a terrible memory. But either way, just stuff like that is real dumb. Other things that have been happening, Braden, did I tell you about the triathlon thing? There's a Lazy Man's Triathlon, which is like all the stuff for a triathlon. Like, you know, it's like 26 miles of jogging, running, and then like 112 of biking and 2.6 of swimming. But you get to do it over like a month. So I've been doing a little bit of that in my week. Trying to think. I've been getting Bryn, you know, last time I went a bit in depth with that annoying person in my class. I just like little things, like not even just her, but like I'll be in class and something will happen. I'll be like, you really just didn't need to do that. And so I just keep getting slightly annoyed at every person. Yeah, you can go check out last podcast, or I can tell you later. Right. But the new thing that happened, or that is happening, which isn't really that bad, but it's still like, why are you doing it, is when someone goes to answer a question and then they tell you something personal about their life, but it was totally unnecessary to answer the question. The example was, it's like it's completely irrelevant, and I'm like, just stop.
It's just irrelevant.
And I hate when it takes the whole class on a tangent as well, when people are like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. And then, like, we're sitting there for like 5 minutes, and you can tell the teacher really doesn't give two craps about it. And realistically, you just want to get on with class.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has happened a few times during the week.
I know the feeling.
It's a big mood. I'm trying to think if there's anything else major.
That's a mood.
I don't think so. We did some cleaning of the dorm a little bit.
Wow.
I believe that the weather here isn't as bad as in Sterling, because like you're talking about all this slipperiness, we barely get ice, and it makes me salty because I do want to slip and slide on some ice.
I agree. However, there's been one occasion where I've slipped, and it was because I saw a big old chunk of ice on the sidewalk. No, I went to kick it. I kicked it. I was successful, but I fell.
You Charlie Brown?
I did. I Charlie Brown, right on my butt.
Oh, classic, dude. I'm happy about that one. Okay, well, we've been over each other's weeks, so let's get into the topic for today. It's really good that CJ's here. The topic is, different, like, stories that we have from high school. Me and Braden have gone into it a little bit. Me in the case of my gaming stuff that went down. Again, check out different podcasts if you want to hear that. But, we all three went to high school together, and I have a horrible memory. So, all 4 years. Yeah, we all went to high school career together.
All 4 years, 4 years.
We'll have more stories, and we can tap in on each other's stories and stuff. And since I have a horrible memory, they're going to remind me stories, because I have nothing to talk about right now. But once you guys start, I'll probably be good.
All right. All right, that's fair. Hey, I won't be just a mere
I'm
guest.
Say you
I
should
will
go
be
first,
part of this.
Guests first.
Okay, so I'm not going to be like year specific. Like, I'm not going to be like, I'm going to do freshman year first.
It's okay. It doesn't matter. Just like, if you've got a fun story, share it.
All right, sophomore year, the year that I really became friends with.
I'm going to be year specific.
Like,
tell the story. CJ
well, you
gets
know
the
what?
story.
Go for it. Tell the story. I think you're going to tell, because I'm also going to tell the story.
Driver's ed together. We also had study hall together. I got a couple stories, from driver's ed and from was driver's ed freshman year? That was sophomore. Oh yeah, okay. Just making sure. Okay, good. So. No, we also had study hall together then too. Was it 7th hour or some odd hour, whatever it was? Yeah, whatever it was. So I'm gonna do the driver's ed first.
It was like 5th hour, something like.
Go for it.
So it seems like every drive that we had,
this story.
There was always a song that played. And I don't know if it's like, do you remember the name of it? But it had to do with "Don't Tell Them" or something like that. Yeah.
I think that was the name of the song.
So it could very well be.
First off, that's not the story I thought you were going to tell.
So anyway, that was just something we always point out. That's our driving song now, so that's great.
Wait, can I get some insight on what this song is? You kind of just like said a few words.
Don't tell him. Yeah, you
Don't
ain't even
tell
gotta.
him?
Don't you even? Yeah, you ain't even gotta tell him. Don't
tell him. Don't.
Oh, okay. That played very often when you guys were driving.
Oh yeah, like almost every
Yes.
single time. Actually, one time I think it happened like what, twice or thrice in one drive.
Every single time, and sometimes we would play twice.
Okay, that's interesting.
Anyway, so yeah, that became
Sometimes.
quickly became our driving song. Now, being in driver's ed, we obviously weren't experts at the craft, you
yeah.
know. However, I myself think I
Wait,
was a
really
much
quick,
better
when,
driver than
when you're
Braden.
talking about
Yeah.
craft, you're talking about Minecraft, correct?
Yes, Minecraft, driving in
Okay.
Minecraft,
Okay.
rail carts and all that good stuff.
Good. Continue.
Anyway, we weren't the best. I myself think I was better. Now,
Let him finish his story.
Yeah, but then you might think you're better.
oh heck
But
no!
I am
Guys,
definitely
guys,
how about
guys.
the,
10 times
all right,
I'm a
better.
third
not
person.
gonna-
I got this. I can make the
Alright,
decision.
I'm not gonna go
CJ's
on a
better.
tangent. Yeah,
CJ's
wanna know
better.
why?
Because you are.
Because when we were going to Starbucks that one day with Vivian, remember, and you like janked the fucking wheel.
Okay,
You were
shut
faking it.
up.
You grabbed it and like yanked it and almost like skidded us out.
Man's so dumb.
Yeah, but as a joke
Okay,
that I
so
actually did.
sometimes when
No. Okay, wait. Here's another funny thing about what happened that time.
Yes, he did.
When we
I
did
didn't
that,
say
we get
anything.
in Starbucks.
I
Guess
should
who
have.
walks in? Our driver's ed teacher.
Yeah, yeah.
And
he
this
walks
was like,
over, I saw you driving on
and this
the
was like
road.
a few.
Good
This was months
job."
after we had graduated.
Just like-
So
Well, actually, that wasn't even that wasn't the story.
all right.
Yeah,
So
the
The
tell
story
the
that
other story.
results,
you were
with,
wanting
with
to
me bringing up driver's ed was it which it was? I don't know if it was during our final drive. Actually, it might have. Yes, I think it was. I think it was during our final drive. Yeah, it was our final drive, and Braden was doing. He was
It
doing
was our
pretty
final
good.
drive.
I got
This was
an
our
A plus
final
on that.
drive.
Just saying. But anyway, he was doing pretty good up until we were heading down a one-way street. Yeah, First Avenue. We were heading down First Avenue one way.
It was
And we're
It was
getting up
First Avenue.
to, kind of where, it goes from being like, what, 3-4 lanes to like 2, a two-way, one-way. So we're in the right or the left lane, whichever one we're in.
yeah.
And Braden, it was the left. Yeah, Braden thinks that they are merging into one.
Left.
So he starts drifting down the middle of the one-way. And like Mr. Schlemmer's like... Yeah, okay,
In
yeah,
the
in the
inter-
intersection.
No,
And Mr. Schlemmer is like,
in the intersection, mind you.
he's like telling
in the
them, he's like,
intersection.
"What are you doing? What are you doing?" And like as Braden's driving, as he finally fixes what happened, he's driving, and then he's like, I could fail you for that. Yeah, I could, but he said he wasn't. He got like, what was it, a C, a B, whatever it was,
Yep.
B minus, yeah. But you know what? That was.
No, like a B minus.
I mean, it's quite a
I'm
story.
not gonna let him live that down. All right, this was like the minor one. Now the real story comes.
That was the minor one.
The real story comes from something that actually relates to the craft,
That was the minor one.
and this was in our study hall. He knows this pretty well. And he knows what I'm gonna
yep,
be
yep.
going for. I don't think there was a single time we worked on homework during that study hall. And this is before they blocked Minecraft and all those games and stuff.
Yeah.
We had a world that we shared. And Braden named it Braden and CJ's Butt Venture.
Mm-hmm. Heard of the Butt Venture.
You have. I know it's probably been brought up in videos
Butt
too.
Venture.
And we did some stuff on there, mostly exploring some building. And that was it. That was literally it. We never did anything else with it. We just kept coming back to it, and he
Yep.
always said he was better.
No. I remember I pranked you. I set TNT.
It almost reminds me
in
of the
front
time
our
that
house.
Given tried building
Oh.
a trap in the server.
No,
that Alex
I'll
had.
tell this story just really quick, briefly. So I had a survival series. I actually posted some of the episodes on my YouTube channel. And either way, it was mainly me and CJ, and then Alex was like the admin of the server or whatever. but it wasn't like perfectly set up. So like we all, I mean, I guess it was fine to be set up how it was, but we all had access to like the hacks, but we didn't use them for anything unless like we needed to do something on the server. And so one time CJ was caught using /fly when we were just supposed to be doing normal survival stuff, and we tell him to turn it off, and then we don't think much of it, and then like later I'm like, oh boy, it's time to hit him with a trap. So like right when he I don't remember the exact situation, but I made it so he would perfectly fall into a really long hole and die. There would be no way to save him unless he had a bucket of water. But either way, like I'm sitting there and all I hear is, whoa, thank God I had /fly on. I'm like, what? And I was so upset. And then his argument for it was like, at first it was like, I had it on just in case, and then he was like, I never said that. It was really just a big old conspiracy. It was kind of hilarious, but at the same time it was like CJ was cheating. So
well, the thing is I was never using it. I had it on, but I wasn't using it.
Yeah, but that's not yeah, exactly.
Because
it's
I
such a dumb
It
argument.
off. I had to have. There's no other explanation because I wasn't using fly.
Listen, I had it, and I showed it to Alex a few times just so we can laugh about it. It's literally CJ having it on and saying, I had it on just in case. Those are like your words.
No, you have the clip of him doing that?
Quote it. It would take a long time searching because
no,
I've
dude,
had, like,
I need to
3
actually
computers
see
now.
this.
And it was on iMovie. Oh,
it is the survival series, I think.
I don't know if I posted
isn't
that
it
one
a video?
because like because me, you and Alex were arguing about it for like 20 minutes or something.
True, something like that.
No, about just the happening,
About
because
whether to
CJ
post
wouldn't
it or
shut up
not?
like me. He's like, it was fine, like it's not that important. But me and Alex like, you're essentially cheating, And CJ was like, no.
I'm using it right
/fly
now.
CJ.
That's
I mean,
why
if I can
watching
find it, I will send it to you. I guess I could look a bit, but either way. Well, wait, no, I think CJ, did you finish your? Was your Minecraft
What do you
story
want,
just that you had the
you
butt
go?
venture?
Yeah, basically just that. There's not really any funny aspect to it. I think didn't you one time draw like a giant penis?
One time. I like how he says one time. It was definitely more than once.
That's Braden's thing, but like I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he made a big dirt penis near my house. Or our
big
house.
dirt penis
Yeah.
by
was
the
like, what?
house. Yeah, I mean, I've made at
Are you
least
even a real
5 dirt
Minecrafter if you
penises
don't?
in my
I mean,
Minecraft
I've made
career.
one on a sign. Does that count?
That counts.
All right, good. Then yes.
Okay, so I honestly came in here with no stories, but I thought of one that I can go for. That's a pretty nice story. Listen, I know I have stories, but you know my
Unprepared
memory. I
given,
was never
unprepared
just. If
given.
I sat there and tried to remember, I wouldn't have remembered anything. I was like, I'll just let them flow out of my mind. So
Same.
my one story is, it
It's
was
trash.
like freshman or sophomore year, and I had a friend named Corey.
Cook.
Yep.
I know him.
I think so. PewDiePie?
PewDiePie
Yeah?
Corey. Yeah.
Yep, that's the guy. He resembled PewDiePie.
Yep, Corey.
He did a lot.
Did he have legs?
He still does. I saw him a few weeks ago.
It's obvious. He obviously doesn't watch PewDiePie. It's all good.
Yes. What?
Yeah, I was like, he does watch him. I want to make fun of him real quick.
Duh.
Either way,
Legs
so
thing.
we were at lunch, and I don't know how it happened, but there was a game where you would both put your hand on the table and take turns slapping the other person's hand as hard as you could.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
No, but
Dude, we'd
it
have
was
like
you'd each have it, not on top of
stacks
each
of
other, like
hands.
right next to each other, and no, not in the one that I played.
No, like
it was we
they'd
put
be
our
on
hands
top of
next
each
to each
other,
other on the table, and we'd take turns slapping each other's hands until one of us
Like
gave
tennis or whatever it was called.
up. Yeah, like tennis, except instead of with your hands right next to each
Yeah.
other, it's use table. Either way, and we were putting in like such anime style force into this that the whole lunchroom goes silent and is looking at us until an administrator has to come over and stop it.
Oh my god.
But neither of us wondered anything. But afterwards, we both shook hands and like nodded at each other. It was good.
Dude, I always remember
hated when that happened.
Retardedly,
people
yeah.
Or like when people would just start
applauding
singing
during
happy
lunch,
birthday. I'd be like, shut
just
up.
on
Reminds me of the
homework.
IM department.
Honestly.
Yeah. No, but
We're
dude,
talking about high
that was
school
always my
things.
goal throughout all my high school career. Just to
Needless
And this is
start-
why you don't have any
start
friends.
applause
CJ,
for
let's
nothing.
leave.
Well, so Given, I don't know if you heard that or not, but when Braden brought up the clapping
true.
part, I said it sounds like
Yeah,
the IM department.
I heard it. Let's give a brief explanation. So the IM department is a bunch of people that are like enforcing stereotypes of like gamers and stuff. And one of the things they do that always gets on my nerves specifically, CJ also admits it's like just really dumb, is like they'll see a Joker. Like we every week on Friday we have a department meeting, and it's just the instructors going over stuff. Sometimes we'll have a speaker, but generally it's the instructors doing random stuff. And like if there's like a small technical difficulty, a joke that really doesn't need to have that much of a response. CJ, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
It's Pi Day. Everyone will start applauding. It is the most annoying thing ever. You'll get like people wooing and like just like shouts of like for some reason they think it's so hilarious, or they feel like clapping is the correct response, and it's always the like cringiest thing to me. And
I know.
Don't understand how they don't realize it. And the other thing is, I was watching a PewDiePie video a while ago, and I know the end of the
Oh,
story
wow.
actually.
Given
That's
was
it.
watching PewDiePie.
No, but he was
big shocker.
watching some conference that they were like going over a game, and there was like a really like not that funny joke, and like people started applauding, and Pewds like registers that's already not a correct response, but then he's like, and look at this guy, and this guy looks like he thinks that joke was the most hilarious thing in existence. Like you can see it on his face. And I'm like, that's our whole IM
Oh my
department right
gosh.
there.
I have to see this now.
I don't know if I still have. I saved it or anything, but it was like, that's it. That's it. It's really annoying. It's like I feel like they must not realize like some social cues, at least a little bit. Like I like a lot of people in the class, but the amount of clapping is absurd.
It is.
Give me a high school story,
yeah.
Braden. We've tangented.
Right. So a lot of these are okay. So freshman year, it was a big
His penis
change.
grew
So
three
I
sizes.
was very wary the first few weeks, and then I remember we had the same fourth hour. We talked about this in the like 2 podcasts ago, but we played patty cake every single day. And it would annoy the crap out of our class because our teacher was not in
witnessed
the
us play it a
room
few times,
during
though, but he
like
didn't really
passing
say anything,
period,
did he?
and so yeah. No, I feel like he might have said
Yeah.
something and like given us crap.
didn't really
for
matter at
but
all.
like not
Yeah.
serious. Nothing because like he wouldn't do that, right? Because we were just doing passing period. It was still during passing period. We'd always play, and then
Yeah.
we'd try to go
But
as
the
fast.
thing was,
as
the
hard
people
as we
that
can.
disliked
That's
it
what
was
she
always
said.
more of like they had the attitude of like, oh my gosh, guys, we're in high school. Why are you playing patty cake? And me and Braden are just like having fun, joking around. It really doesn't matter, and it always annoyed me when people like do
Because
stuff
we're
like
just
that.
living our lives.
Yeah, they're always like, I'm so much better than you.
It was always the
Yeah.
girls.
I don't play patty cake anymore.
And,
I stopped that like last year.
I remember our lunch table, which had
No,
me,
I don't. Because I
Corey,
had
James.
Gatlin, Cody,
CJ, were you at
and,
that lunch table?
Yeah,
couple other
I
people
think
of
I like cycled between lunch tables that year, didn't I? I would like
You
sometimes sit at
cycled
one
between
and
a lot of
sometimes sit
lunch
at.
tables.
I was all over the place.
I think we all did. I think we all. I usually had like my main lunch table, but thing is, this especially like senior year, I ate lunch at one table and then I made rounds to other tables and like talked to them. But we just sat at that table most days, and had fun. Met Corey, where I didn't know who Corey was. I wanted to talk to him. Then I asked someone, "Hey, who's that guy?" And then it was like, "Oh, that's Corey." So I just said Corey, and he was at the complete other end of the lunch table.
Can we get some explanation for what just happened?
Yeah, because I can't see it.
This is literally what he did. Silence.
He was looking down at something, and he just immediately had his head up in like a big smile, and I was like, "Okay, we're best friends now." And then we basically were really good friends throughout like
when he graduated
up to my junior year, which was his senior year. Yeah. And then what else did we do? See, freshman year was my first year. I sang tenor in choir, which was good because I was always forced to sing. Because I was an 8th grader in 7th and 8th grade choir. All the 8th graders were immediately put on bass for no reason, which I didn't like because I wanted to sing tenor. So like the second I got into high school, I was like, I'm singing tenor. And so I did, and then I've sang tenor ever since, and I love it.
That's the story of how he lost his virginity.
A
lot of
the little lady called his left hand.
Yep.
Okay, right.
Left. Who is she? We don't know her.
Right.
Apologies.
What else did we do? We didn't. I made my
slap her?
English teacher cry. So it was like the first few weeks of the year.
Okay.
We were learning about like coming of age moments. And that summer, my dad had passed away. And so I said that was my coming of age moment. And I said basically stuff along the lines of, don't take your life for granted. You don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Love everyone with as much as you can. And she cried. She said I was the first one to make her cry.
Who would you
cry?
I could make her cry if I really wanted to,
Okay.
I'm not gonna say. I'll tell you after.
You got any like cool fun stories, Braden? Making us tear up over here.
I know, right?
Braden's like, yeah, that never happened.
Fun stories from freshman year.
I never had fun in my life, actually.
I don't have.
All right.
I don't have really
can
fun
take
stories
over
from freshman year.
Wait, hold on. Okay.
All right. So
yeah,
this
CJ,
is about this happened a few times, either throughout 1 year or 2. I don't remember which. Probably junior, senior. Alrighty. So this is has to do with lunch, and given and an object that has to be thrown.
What? I mean, you continue your story. I'll remember at some point.
All right. So
never mind. I know what's happening. Hit him with it.
You know what's happening?
I know what's happening.
Okay, actually, it could be 3. Actually, we threw a lot of things. There's a football, frisbee, water bottle, or Gatorade bottles, or whatever it was. Anyway, I'm focusing in on the frisbee.
Yeah, that's the main culprit.
Yeah. So, Given apparently likes to assault women with plastic objects.
Is a special child
who cannot control his aim.
Actually,
not on 1, 2, but like 3 different occasions.
I'd say there's 3 occasions. One occasion, I purposely threw it into a crowd of people, but it was from a distance, so it would fall down on them. It wasn't just gonna whack one of them in the head. 2 of the other ones, though, were for sure. I threw it to somebody, and they just missed the catch.
Didn't you whip one of them? I feel like you might have, and I know it hit someone we know in the face.
I remember I never hit somebody very hard. It was always I was at one end of the field and I whipped the frisbee and then it hit somebody.
Well, I know that it hit somebody we know.
Mostly females. I'm just
actually,
saying.
They were all 3 of the ones I'm talking
I may
about.
be an anime character, but Yeah.
Wait, were they? I was never here for any of this.
No,
No?
it's like
Were
so there's a
these
field
females
and then there's
playing?
like a little. Yeah, but it's like underneath a certain area and there's
The
like
area
arches
where
to
you
it.
could eat lunch
And
outside.
so I would throw it and it would like drift
Yeah.
in there and whack somebody. I sound really mean right now.
Well, actually, one of the times it wasn't even in there. I think they were standing. You know,
Yeah, sometimes random
yeah.
crowds would happen.
Yeah.
And like I'd be like, yeah, this crowd's looking mighty hittable.
fucking throw it. Yeah.
I always loved, like, even though I was generally aiming for the crowd, whenever it went, it looked like it was on just a straight trajectory. Like, it was like, the moment I threw it, I was like, it's gonna hit that woman, isn't it? And then in Thwacker, I'd be like, I'm gone.
Yeah, I know.
God.
One time you did. You like hid immediately. You like ran behind like the building there, like looking around. I'm sitting here laughing because you decided to hide. They look at me. I'm like,
Oh, goodness.
yeah.
Did I ever hit
And-
somebody with the football or the water bottle? Tell me more. Tell me more.
I'm not sure because with the water bottle, you always like to whip it over the building. I feel like it could have,
I think it got close to hitting somebody who was at
Yeah.
a picnic table.
but I don't think it did. I don't think it ever actually hit somebody.
Yeah, so just to explain that part, there was
Wait,
our building at that part was like it was 2 stories tall, but then there was like a third part that was the roof. And so I would just see if I could chuck things over the roof and it would go over and then onto the other side. And it was always like mystery timing too, if I would get it straight over or if it would hit the opposite side of the roof and roll down. So it was kind of like a spectacle,
Yeah.
you know. We'd throw it and see what happens. But I don't think any of those actually fell on somebody. I think once it
No.
got close, which
No, I
is
don't
good
think it
because that
actually
would have
ever
been
hit
coming from a
anybody.
height.
Oh yeah. Was it you or somebody else that when water bottle flipping was a thing? They flipped it onto an air conditioner. Yeah.
No, I was actually
right
just about
next
to
the
say, like,
person.
who
I think
did
I don't
that?
think it was me.
No. Okay.
It was an air conditioner on the 2nd floor.
Yeah.
No,
It was dope.
Because like
Yeah, I remember that. What about the time
Yeah,
the frisbee
dude,
got stuck on the,
that was
the
awesome.
library roof?
Ah, that's a good story. So one day the frisbee got stuck on the library roof, which it was like a slanted roof, but really not that slanted. Like maybe like 10 to 15 degrees.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Something like that.
And it was just 1 story up, and I think it had happened before, and I like asked the janitor if he could go do something about it, but they couldn't, or like it was gone or something. So this time I was like, I'm going to get my frisbee, and so I climb up the gutter of the library and grab the frisbee. I'm like, guys, if any of you throws it
because
back
it was
up there
just
again,
on
there's
the
gonna
edge.
be. Yeah, I mean, either way, I got onto the roof of the library, which, Brayden, what are you doing right now? Just really quickly. You can tell he's
Nothing, I'm
definitely twiddling
like
his
twiddling my
thumb.
thumbs and, like,
Or
random
he's
things
sitting there on
desk.
his phone like I got. I mean, I can't.
No, I'm not on my phone. Literally right now, I'm playing with, like in my hands, like the things that go on earbuds and a volume.
Real quick,
thing
Given, does
that's
your
supposed to be on my
phone
bass
lose
right now.
connection
I'm just
to
playing with
BU
them.
Secure?
My phone is never connected to BU Secure, so that's a funny joke. That's just our internet to explain what's happening. But
I've been dropping
no.
for the past like 2 or 3 weeks, constantly.
big loss.
Yeah, and it's annoying because I expect messages and like I miss them. I'm like, ugh,
Yeah.
it sucks. Anyway,
So I climbed on the library, grabbed the frisbee, got down. Most of the people were just amazed that I got in the library for some reason. I don't know, like. No, I think somebody
Wait, did
said
anyone tell on you?
something because did an administrator come out and ask if somebody climbed up there?
I think someone did.
But we didn't. I didn't get snitched on, you know.
Oh, that brings up a story for me.
Dude,
Wait, Braden, what
if
did you
have
just
gotten
say?
snitched on.
Okay.
All right, you're good.
Here, let me tell one quick. All right, so I'm gonna talk about sophomore year. I have these like stories by year, so I'm just going in order, and none of these are like really special. But I had a boring study hall during my second hour, which is not the one that I had with CJ. And then It was my favorite year in choir in terms of the songs we sang. We had driver's ed with CJ, like he already talked about. Which I remember, CJ. Do you remember our first drive where I forgot my permit?
That will be good.
I think he's talking to someone else.
Yes, hello. Sorry, I was being
cheating
shown a
on
book.
us,
CJ.
Brayden.
I said, do you remember that one during our first drive in driver's ed? It was a Saturday
Yeah,
drive.
I think
and
there was one time I
completely
forgot my wallet,
permit.
but my dad brought it to me. Yeah, I know.
No, thing is, I was a drive during school. This drive was a Saturday drive. I show up like 5 minutes before our teacher. Then he says he's going to the gas station for some coffee. And I'm thinking that could take like 10 minutes. It takes me 2 minutes to bike from here to my house.
Yeah.
And so I could be back in like 9 minutes.
I remember you
So
got
I
in the
didn't.
back.
I did
and
the
you were
math,
stuck
sat there
and I did
and just like,
nothing.
oh.
I figured it out in my head. I did all the calculations and did not proceed.
And this was the year I actually started hanging out with CJ on like a regular basis because
Yeah.
we had been acquaintances since like 5th or 6th grade.
Buds.
But this was the year we became buds. And then this was the our first year in high school with
Easy
the
memes.
MacBooks. And this was also the only year in high school where the three of us were in the same
History?
class, like all
AP
year.
US history or human
History,
yeah,
geography.
that's a
Not
bad
Alex
history.
was there too.
It was human geography.
Oh, I've got a
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
story.
And do you guys remember? Okay, do you guys remember that one day? Do you guys remember the one day where we didn't have like assigned
Oh,
seats?
yeah, I remember.
but
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
had their
Yeah.
seat. You know,
Oh, you
And-
freaked out.
Alex. I walk into class and Alex
I was
is
like,
sitting
this is a
in
dumb
my
thing to be
seat,
upset
and I was
about.
pissed.
I'm in agreement with
Like,
Braden.
I even
though.
talked to our teacher, and he was like, "No, but I have a reason to be pissed." And he said, our teacher basically said, "There's no assigned seats. Just sit where Alex usually sits." But the reason I was pissed was because
did
I
not
always
know
sat
that,
behind
but,
the girl I had a
that just sounds
huge
kinda
crush
like
on,
creeping.
and I was just like, "Why, dude? Like, this is where I sit." And he was like, "Dude, there's no
No,
assigned
he-
seats."
he
Like,
really
had no
didn't.
I
good
still
reason,
don't think
I
you should have been
to
this
why
upset
he was sitting
as
in
you
my
were,
seat.
if I'm being honest.
All right. Well, for some, okay, when a class doesn't have assigned seats, that seat that you claim is sacred. All right.
I'd say it's not.
Well, I would say it is
I
because
did not.
it is. It's just like, all right, say like
It is.
like in a class, you always have that seat. Like, there's no assigned seats in college, right? You don't have to worry about that. I don't know about you, but for me, if I go into a class and someone's sitting in my spot, I get
You beat him up.
uncomfortable. I'm like, bro, that's my spot.
It's not that big a deal, and I recognize that, so I don't make it a big deal,
You know what?
Yeah, but it's a big deal. Thing is, okay, even if I wasn't
I was like,
sitting
knowing you,
behind the
you'd
girl
still
I
be
liked,
upset, yeah.
I
would
wouldn't
still
be upset. I'd be like, oh, god
Equally
dang it, I
as
gotta find a
upset.
new spot. But I mean,
Well, and I also remember
oh, right,
all the
okay.
times in that class where our teacher would be talking, and the amount of times we got boys from
It did
him
happen
to
a
tell
lot.
us to stop talking.
And how about that? Wasn't that the same year in the same class
Um,
that Given told us about what he had in his wallet?
A condom?
Yeah.
I don't get why this is a big deal. I'm like, wait a minute.
Maybe.
Was this a big deal?
I remember something.
whipped it
about
out in
him
class
having
and made a
condom in
balloon.
his wallet. he had the condom for like. Oh, hey, Given. This was also the year in that class where we made the Madagascar
It
video.
was not. That was not the same class. No, it wasn't.
Wasn't that the fish
Yeah, it was.
video
No.
too?
Yeah,
I
it was.
that
swear to
before?
God, it was not that class. Was it?
It was. Because remember at the end of the video,
Why would
we
I
said
remember
Mr.
when I
Hart's
said it at the end of the
6th hour
video?
class.
That was pretty dumb of you. I'm just gonna be honest.
When was the last time you watched that video?
Long time ago.
Same.
I just want to explain something really quick to anybody who's looking at me
and that was fun.
in the video. I am scrolling through Facebook right now because there's a story from that class that I posted what happened on Facebook, and I'm looking for it. But I post more than I wish I do, so I might.
Well, you know what? It'd be really easy for me to find my stuff.
Okay, well I made it to the bottom, so now I scroll back up. Yeah, big plays.
God.
So-
I was gonna say we could CJ. Do you wanna we got in a little bit of trouble in that class for talking, but I feel like the other history class me and you had together.
U.S. history.
I don't know. The
Yeah, I
one
think
with
it
the
was.
chick. With the women.
Yeah. Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Miss
So
Jackson.
we would always
I am for real.
Okay, CJ, don't flex on us.
Hey.
We would originally just always be like joking and snickering to ourselves,
Mhm.
which honestly isn't the nicest thing to do. But I felt like we weren't being that loud. But then one day, the teacher, it would have been more acceptable if before she had been like, "Hey guys, I would kind of like it if you would stop." But I'd say we were at the same volume we normally were, and she just stopped the class, and she's like, "Guys, you're always talking. You have to stop." Okay. But
No. Do you guys? Wait, hold on. Do you guys remember the first day junior year where I thought I was in that class too? So I
Yes.
just sat in there for like the first 10 minutes, and I was like Mrs. Our teacher said, "Did I not say anyone's name?" And I was like, me." And she was like, "Oh, you're in my fourth hour or whatever." And thing is, I was so confused because of my WACC study hall, so that's why. All right.
yeah,
continue.
I just don't like when people you need a bit of warning. She was obviously
Yeah.
by what she said upset that we talked all the time, but she only said it once, and it was like shouting at us in the middle of the class lesson that we
Yeah, I
were
remember
always
that.
doing it. Which we probably weren't being the nicest, but
We used Messenger
we didn't
for a
recognize
while.
that we were being that loud. Yeah, and then after that, we just messaged each other through Google Hangouts or something.
Yep.
Even though we're sitting right next to each other in
Yeah.
class, we just be clickety clacking away the whole time. It was big plays,
Yep. Big brain.
big brain plays.
I did have one,
So,
but I
who's
forgot
next?
I'm trying to find my story still on Facebook. Braden, you go for it. I'm gonna keep looking.
I have mine
really want to
written
get
down,
the
kid.
exact thing I have.
All right, we're gonna
Oh,
talk,
never mind. I just found it. I literally just found it.
Oh.
Screw you, Braden.
We're gonna
Go
talk
kill
about
yourself.
junior year.
Ooh.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
This is gonna be the CJ and Given podcast now. Jeez.
Did he stop talking?
I'm not sure. I think his mic's freaking out.
So I'm just gonna tell my story. Hopefully, Braden gets back at some point. Nothing. You know what's worse though? It's because we just have his audio. Nobody knows that we're just sitting there. We can't hear him because his internet cut out.
Exactly.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you word for word what I put on Facebook October 3rd, 2014. This really hilarious...
Yeah.
What?
It's October
Who is
3rd.
that? Is it?
That's a Mean Girls reference.
That's why I posted this. No.
Wow.
This really hilarious thing happened in my AP Human Geography class today. For some reason, it is really easy to say sexual comments to things we're discussing.
I remember.
So we would always just joke to each other quietly
I remember that.
with my friends. And here it goes. Well, today the teacher asked something like, what could we be having less of that makes the US have less children? And I'm sitting on my computer tapping
Yeah.
away at a video game and wasn't paying attention and didn't realize how loud I said it. So I just said sex.
I
And the
remember
whole
that.
class stopped and stared at me. And the teacher's like, well, I guess.
Mr. Hart's was awesome, though, dude.
Yeah, honestly, one of my favorite teachers. What are we having less of, guys? The big sexy times, you know.
The big S.
I mean,
Yeah,
to be
I was
fair,
like-
Oh, I
think
definitely remember
this
that.
I was
happening, but
I was hoping
you're
none
not
of you
wrong.
would bring it up when we started talking about that class because I'm like, they're gonna remember, right? And they didn't, so it was all good.
I did not remember that happening.
It only
until
has one
just
like
now.
on Facebook. I'm a little disappointed.
That was given that sophomore year. That was also the year that you were in a wheelchair.
I just give up on Brains anyway.
Right, cutting in and out.
We still can't hear him. Usually it's like, hold on, pause. We're gonna address
No,
this.
I
first.
said
Your internet cuts out pretty often. But usually me and CJ, like, you'll come back in a few seconds, so it's not too bad, and we can get the
piece
gist
it
of what you were
together.
saying. And we don't want to like interrupt the actual podcast to say anything. But these last two times, you just disappear entirely.
It's like you'll be saying,
thing is
Yeah,
that's
but it's
been
just your
that's been
internet. You're
happening
godly
with you
internet.
guys too.
yes. Super Saiyan God.
Say what you're gonna say.
Okay, but okay, let me say what I was gonna say. Okay, that was also the year that Given was in a wheelchair for a few weeks.
Oh goodness.
And in that class, in our AP Geography class, I took my laptop and I opened up the text to speech thing. I was like, David, type and like tilt your neck. like
Yes.
Stephen
It
Hawking.
was very good.
Yeah.
Because I just had the computer on my lap, like sitting, like in a Stephen Hawking pose, just like staring down, just typing things in text to speech. It was good.
You know, if Mac does anything
Classic.
right, it's having the ability to
terminal
use the
thing.
terminal like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's terminal. Yeah, us pro
that's what that
hackers
was
know
called.
that. I was actually gonna say something, then realized it wasn't related to anything. So.
Oh man.
Oh, I guess I should probably talk about the wheelchair, like how I got myself hurt,
Hmm.
because I feel like there's no other easy way to slide into that one. You know, does that sound good, Braden? Or should I feel like it won't fill up a whole podcast thing, so I'll tell a quick version.
Just, you don't want to tell
So
the story, tell
I
the
go to
story.
take out the trash. I take the plastic bag out of the trash, and I skip down the road like a merry little girl. And then the trash bag hits my knee, and I instinctively know that something has gone wrong. But I still
Yeah.
like go a few more steps, and I stop. I look at my knee, and there's a big old cut in it. So I drop the bag, sprint back to the house, grab my leg, and like as I was sprinting, it wasn't too bad. Like my body hadn't caught up with like it just got cut. But when I stopped, it started bleeding because I'm holding my knee. I crack open the door because I didn't want to get blood inside. So there's blood dripping all over the porch. I'm like, Mom, I need to go to the hospital. She's like, what? Like, I need to go to the hospital. She walks over, looks at my knee. She's like, oh, okay, it's not too bad. And we end up going to the hospital.
Yeah, wait. What
So,
actually was it? Just a super deep cut?
It's I have it on my knee right now, so in case you were wondering, but it's like actually I'm gonna pull out my measuring tape real quick because I have one right here ready to go. It's like an almost 2-inch long cut, and yes, it did like cut the cartilagey bit of the knee or whatever, and like some other stuff. It was mostly that it was bleeding a lot. That new knee, it was the main problem.
I
And
have
then,
a story similar to that next.
Oh yeah, but I ended up being in a wheelchair for a bit, and I wouldn't have had to be in it as long, but they gave me the wrong size brace, and we didn't realize until later. So pretty much, since I had like a smaller brace than I needed, whenever I like tried to rest my leg in a regular chair, the brace would be like hitting my leg in a way so it was always in pain. So I was probably in a wheelchair for longer than I needed to, solely because of that. But once we figured that out, I moved to crutches and whatever. But that's how I was in a wheelchair for a bit, guys. CJ, is your background the one that has like somebody watching something?
Yes, yes, it does.
Okay, whatever, it's fine. I'll just kill myself.
It'll be all good. I promise.
CJ, you want to quick tell your
Yeah. So my
gardening
story
incident?
is my what?
Your gardening incident.
God, you knew exactly. Okay. Well,
Obviously.
anyway. So,
You
you know exactly
What
it
is this? I don't think I
My
know this
story
one.
is similar, but I would say on the so all right, if we're judging this based off knowledge level, we're gonna say like the memes, like when something gets increasingly stupid or more detailed, you have like those like big celestial things going on.
Yeah.
Mine is probably like past that. We're talking like
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
the time of creation, man. That's what we're
okay.
going at. So
The level
once
of
upon a time,
stupidity.
senior year, yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, senior year.
Yeah, I was, going about my day, mowing the lawn, and Pops was like, "Could you cut the hedges?" And I'm like, "All right, Pops." Dad, I don't call my dad Pops. I don't call him that. Dad,
It's okay. He's Pops from now on.
I can do that. He's like, "Be careful." I'm like, "All right." So I go and get the clippers. I'm cutting the hedge.
By
And
clippers,
they're
he
electric.
means like
They're electric.
the electric things
clippers.
that have like a little piece of twine that spins around fast speed, right?
Well, yeah, I don't. In the inside, yeah. But yeah. So anyway, yeah, with like the two blades, one the sharp one, the other one just dull, or they're just dull in general. Anyway, I'm using those, and I'm going along, and then I'm like, you know what? I stop it. I'm looking at it, I'm like, there's stuff caught in between this. Let me reach my hand while the blades are still moving, and pick it out.
Yeah, you're just stupid in this. Point.
I let him
I
slow
don't
down.
remember.
How did you
I don't
not hear
remember
about
ever
this,
hearing
Brandon?
about this.
That's
I don't think I
insane to
ever
me.
heard about this.
So,
I heard so much
or
about
I'm just
this.
stupid.
Yeah,
and
you
forgot it.
believe me, I wouldn't let it go. So yeah, I felt
You
a
wouldn't let it
very,
go because of
very
what happened at the
sudden,
hospital.
extremely hard pinch, and I don't know what happened. I don't, and I'm like, I look down,
I
and then
just
there's
stuck my
blood
finger in this.
pouring down my finger and my hand. I'm like, oh shoot, Dad! And I yell, I walk inside, I yell his name, and I'm like, something happened. He's like, Jesus, what did you do? I walk in, I'm like, I cut my finger. And it was bleeding all over, and to couple in the stupidity, when I was sitting on the sink, because we didn't have a way, I don't think we had two vehicles at the time. So we had to wait for my mom to get home. And
How
as
long
I'm
did it
waiting.
take? Really quick. How long did it
Yeah,
take?
go ahead.
No, how long did it take for your mom to get home? Just
Oh,
curious.
10, 15 minutes, I think it was.
Okay. I was just wondering because he
I'm
lives
sitting
like
here with
walking
a
distance
wash
from the
rag
hospital.
gripped around my finger. I'm kind of like, but I wasn't holding it up high, so it kept on bleeding.
You let the blood keep going to it.
Yeah. So after like 5 minutes of that, just bleeding, I'm like, crap, I got to do this. I held it up and clenched it, and it was fine. It like the skin, it got all closed up. And then they still decided to go to the dentist. I was like, or the dentist. Oh my God, the dentist. Yes.
The dentist ripped open his mouth. He's like, yeah, let's get it.
All right, so that. You know what I just never realized?
Oh, guys, my finger's bleeding. I need to
You know
go
what
to
I
the
just
dentist.
never realized? That I went
Shut
to the
the
dentist for a cut finger.
Imagine.
Anyway,
No, he
Yeah.
went to the
Wait, did you
hospital.
actually go to the hospital?
and I'm there, and I'm like, you know what? This doesn't need stitches. It's fine.
Wait.
Nurse lady looks at it. She's like, yeah, this needs stitches. I'm like, but it's closed. She's like, yeah, watch this. Splits.
Yeah,
Now I
she like
remember
splits
it.
it back
Split my.
open.
I'm like, ow.
No, now I
It
remember.
hurt.
That's what
too.
CJ always complains about. He's like, this god dang person just ripped it back
She
open.
did. And then she ran hot like fucking water in it. And it hurt.
No,
And then
now I remember you having stitches.
no
in your
matter how
finger.
much,
I remember this now.
no matter how much like pain numbing they gave me, it didn't work. I still felt the stitching, and there's only 2 stitches, but that's in the sensitive part of the finger. It hurt.
Maybe they should have just. Maybe they
You
should
know
just
what?
given
I
you
would
heroin.
have said yes. Let me hit that line.
Just because CJ went a little more in depth with his story, I do want to say like 3 other things about mine. So first, the garbage bag. Obviously, there should have been a separate paper bag or something with the glass in it.
Yeah, that'd have been smart.
It was just a plastic bag. How am I supposed to know there's glass in it? Like
Your
me
folks-
skipping down the driveway isn't that a bad of a thing?
Despite your mom being a
my mom's
doctor and
dumb.
your,
I
and your
love her,
dad
but she's
being as
dumb.
smart as he is, I don't know. It's
My
not
dad
your
wasn't there.
sisters.
No,
Okay,
they're
well,
dumb too.
they're not the brightest cookies, you know.
Yeah, because I just
Oh,
I
he
call my
just
mom
called your
dumb all
mama
the time.
stupid.
It's
How
okay, I love her.
do you feel about
She's
that?
a doctor. She's a doctor. She's not that stupid, but she's
Yeah.
still stupid.
Yeah, but
So it's that part, like, obviously wasn't my fault. And the second thing, she wanted to go to her hospital that she was working at right now instead of, like, the hospital.
the clinic or something, yeah.
Yeah, so we ended up going to that one and then having to leave it. So, like, we drove, like, 40 minutes to one hospital. They're like, yeah, we can't do this here. You're going to need to go to the other one. And so we drove, like, another 40 minutes.
For an injury
no
like
reason.
that, you should just go to the ER immediately.
I was like, yeah, or we ended up going to the ER, but they couldn't even do it in the ER at that hospital because it wasn't set up for it or anything.
Okay.
But I'd say that the craziest part of my story, besides all that random stuff, is so I'm in the car, I'm like leaning back, holding my leg up a little bit with a rag on it, so it's not bleeding too much. I'm just compressing it, and we get to the hospital, and like I'm maneuvering there while keeping my leg bent at the same spot and the rag on it because it feels like something bad will happen if I unbend my leg. And we get in there and like, we're going to have to unbend your leg so we can look at it properly. We're going to have to straighten it. I'm like, I don't think that's a good idea. They do it anyway. Immediately, blood spurts out and hits the ceiling. The ceiling. My mom is a doctor. She says she's never seen anything like that. We're talking movie style blood spurt.
Wow.
It got on like the cabinets a little bit and it hit the ceiling.
Oh, I remember this now.
Yeah.
I don't.
Braden's like, I suppressed that one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Let's get back on topic, guys. High school.
Well, that was high school.
All right.
Yeah, it was high school. Yeah.
It was during high school, but it's not relevant to.
I mean,
high
considering
school.
how it stemmed off the wheelchair story, yeah.
But I'll go. Well, the wheelchair one was.
You know
yours
what?
wasn't.
He's
That was
roasting you.
stemming off of what was. Yeah.
It's all good.
Oh.
It's all, guys. We all love each other. Braden, hit us with the story.
Anyway.
Like, my biggest high school injury was actually relevant. 'cause
Really
it
quick,
happened
did his
during
voice
school.
crack a bunch?
Yeah.
You did
My voice didn't crack. Are you stupid? My voice didn't crack.
Continue your story.
You know what? I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna mark the time. And I'm gonna watch it when it comes out. It did not
Okay.
crack. But junior year, I started. I was the only one of the three of us to do a WACC.
No, I did
Was I?
WCC junior year.
No, you did WACC.
I did
What
computer
did you
tech.
do?
Yeah, he did. And you did early childhood
All right.
development.
Yeah, and where I taught preschool. I actually have. Right here in my desk, I have pictures of all the kids.
Wait. Oh, what do you do to these kids? Why do you have pictures of them? No.
I taught them. You were given- shut up.
He didn't even register that one.
I had my favorite teacher I've ever had in the world for an English
Mr.
teacher.
Francis.
That's the boy.
He was awesome. And it was my best year in choir in terms of the quality, as to where I said sophomore year is my favorite in terms of the songs we sang. But we sounded the
Okay,
best.
when
my
you said
junior
quality,
year.
I was
It was my
confused
first
if it was
year-
just you or the choir.
Yeah.
We're good. Yeah.
No, everyone. My first year in madrigals, which was fun, and I remember this as we were talking. Me and CJ and our friend Cody had math together, and we were sitting at a table, just the three of us. And Cody made like this
Wasn't that
little
Mr.
thing
Penny's math class?
that he like threw.
Okay.
Yeah, and he threw it, and he
Oh
said,
my
like,
God,
"Allahu
yeah.
Akbar,"
Classic
and I just
Cody.
started.
Allahu Akbar.
I started cracking up, and and
He's
then
married now.
I laughed for like
Yeah.
he is. I laughed for like a minute straight, and then Cody said like, "Okay, I'm just gonna say it, given you could make the choice whether to bleep it out or not." But he was
I
like,
honestly
"Oh, fuck."
thought you were going to say
And
the
I was
N
like-
word.
He said that a
I'm going
lot.
to say it. You can bleep it, but.
He was like, "Oh fuck," and then Mr. Penny stops the class, looks at me, and was like, "Braden, you want to go put a quarter in the swear jar? And I was like, it wasn't me. I didn't say that. Cody said that. And then I looked at CJ. It's like, CJ, who said that?
Said Braden, please.
No, I don't think. No, I think. And then no, and then I said it was Cody, and then Cody. I think he probably admitted to it, and so then he did. And then I think I asked you afterwards, and then like I was like, CJ, if Mr. Penny would have asked you who did it, who would you have said? I'm pretty. You said that you would have said that I did it.
No, I was ready. CJ's like, it was me.
'Cause
Whole class
you're-
stands up. It was me. It was me. No, I said the F word.
You know, that was also the class period and year that we had the Spaceballs versus Space Jam debacle. And the
You
popcorn
guys had a
versus,
lot of
And
debacles in
right.
Mr. Penny's class.
All right,
We
listen
did.
up. Listen up. I'm just gonna look through my
Guys, I
DVDs
can
that are right-
look at. Oh my God. As a third party, I'll settle this one. Okay, it's Spaceballs.
No, Mr. Penny already settled. Yeah, thank
No.
you.
Big no.
It's Spaceballs.
No, it's Space Jam.
Listen, unless it's space peanut butter and jelly, ain't no one caring.
Oh,
Okay.
there was my light. Look at this,
Okay.
guys.
He's probably just holding Spaceballs up to it.
Mr. Penny
He probably
agreed that
is.
it was.
And we also had it was
That it was
popcorn
Spaceballs.
versus something else, wasn't it?
Ooh, let me
Or
have my
Snickers
opinion.
versus something. I thought it was something along the lines of food.
No, it was snack. It was snacks while you watch movies, and I was pro snacks, and you were
Pro
anti
snack.
snacks.
I don't see the
And
problem.
Well,
Mr. Penny asked, and we asked Mr. Penny. It was like he was straight up just
I like.
snacks.
Yeah, it's
He
not
needs
that bad.
snacks.
If you have a problem, then you have a problem. But otherwise, it shouldn't matter.
And I said, and then another one was, Mr. Penny was
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
the middleman, and I always asked, and then one of them was, my favorite ice cream at the time was mint chip, and yours was something
probably
else.
cookies and cream. I
And
think.
we,
I'm not sure. I forget.
and we asked him, and he said mint chip, and so he always
No,
went with
actually,
me.
no. There was a time he didn't.
Yeah, I feel like you made a big deal about
When?
the time that he
He
didn't.
did. No,
was
he
like,
did. I remember, but I
Dude,
can't
Mr.
remember
Penny for
what
the
it was
first
about.
time. Yeah, I don't remember either. I just
can't
remember
remember
Braden
either.
being like, he didn't agree with me. I'm gonna have to, my opinion. I do like mint chip and I do like cookies and cream, but cookies and cream all
Yeet.
the way.
Honestly, you know what? What's funny is like now I like cookies and cream more
I bet Mr. Penny does too.
than
Bandwagon. Just kidding.
right. So that's my junior year. That's the stories I have.
Okay.
All right.
If CJ, you go.
All right. So this was when me and Given were in gym. And you remember, dude? We always complained how like people never did anything
Anything.
in that class.
That's
like legit.
Every gym, but yeah.
Okay, like we were the ones that would, after we had to do our walks and runs, would continue to do the walks and runs if they didn't
Senior
have something we
year.
didn't like. Senior year, yeah.
Yeah. Before that, we were lazy bums
But I
and
think
didn't care.
the best stuff we did was when we were doing the wall touches, wall to wall, the wall jumping stuff we did. Fun, for sure. Best. And I remember who was it? Schrader or was it? Who was the other?
Just to explain what he means, so we'd run from one side of the gym to the other,
Yeah.
and then when we got to the wall, we'd like try to run up it as high as we could. Right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it. That's it.
And on one side, it was really nice because the wall had a staircase, so you could like go up and see what the highest staircase you could grab was too. It was nice.
That was
Easy
also
funds.
fun.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, we completely skipped the fact that we had gym together.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he said it.
Oh,
But did
well,
you have any debacles? Any stories to tell?
no. I mean, we used to do like those one word each stories.
Yes,
all
we
the time.
would actually, and we were always up at the spin bikes. 'Cause that's literally all Braden wanted to do.
Yeah.
Besides kickball, or was it kickball, or was it mat ball? Here we go. That's what it was. Yeah.
Because I kicked ass at mat ball. I was awesome.
Eh.
You've been roasted.
Ugh.
Okay.
But yeah.
What were you gonna say? Something? What was the story there? Just real quick.
I was thinking about it, but I forgot.
That we always did like word stories.
Oh,
Oh yeah, we
stories.
always did that. I can't think of any of the ones we came up with.
I can't remember either. That was the year we started the 3-2-1.
Yes.
thing.
Oh, you gotta do it now.
In that
do it.
class, 3, 2, 1. Business.
I'm not gonna sync
'Cause
that
we're
up in
businessmen.
post. Just I'm leaving that at how it
Oh.
was all laggy
God
and
dang
stuff.
Oh.
I don't remember any specific like cool stories from gym. I got like 2 things I think I can say. One was senior year and I was getting all fit and stuff. Mrs. Schrader really wanted me to do cheerleading in college because I can do like backflips and round off
Cartwheels.
backflips and
Dude,
dive rolls.
I was
and
really
cartwheels
tempted.
what were you gonna say?
I genuinely considered being a cheerleader in high
It would
school.
have worked. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you would have gotten on. So
I mean, he couldn't beat me in
Because, like,
wrestling,
how- no.
but, you know.
No, how funny. What does that have to do with it?
he just likes
CJ?
flexing on you. That's all.
And like, like, how funny would it have been to have the fat kid be a cheerleader?
Nobody would have laughed. Okay.
No. Anybody who laughed at you had to
Oh,
beat him up.
can we talk about Big Mike? And that's all we're gonna address. him
Yes. Oh my God. Oh my
Big Mike in
God.
the
Big
house, dude.
Mike's in the house.
as.
Big,
Okay. Okay.
Big
I guess I'm gonna go with this one because I started it.
yeah.
So Big Mike, what did he transfer in? I feel like he kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
right?
he did. He transferred it. I'm pretty sure.
No, he transferred.
he
in
transferred
from,
in,
He went to Rock
and
Falls.
he immediately like tried to embrace the meme of himself. And he addressed
Yeah.
himself as Big Mike, and he'd always be trying to like put on a show a little bit,
Mhm.
but he wasn't the best at it at all times. There was a few situations where he like didn't know when to stop and got in trouble, but like it was
Yeah.
at that point it wasn't a show anymore. It was like you're fully aware that he needs to stop a little bit right now. But then the other times, people would fully embrace it, like Big Mike double dab, and then he'd do it, and like the whole classroom would go crazy and stuff.
Yeah. One of the times you're talking about when he got in trouble was what was it? It was
It was like there was
yeah, the
Homecoming
homecoming. Yeah, and
assembly.
he was like down there just like
he was like
dabbing
on the field
and-
trying to
He
do
was-
something,
he was
but he
dancing.
was interrupting the actual assembly. So
I
he
know,
was
and
asked
they
to
told
stop.
him to stop. I know. I think he was a little
But
yeah.
he was a little up, but it was okay. He didn't get too bad.
Yeah, no, not too bad.
The one other story I have about Jim isn't really a story about Jim. It's a pretty bad story anyway. I feel like I was with one of you guys. I was talking to someone during this story. So we were walking out of gym
We
class.
never had a gym together, so
I don't think I was talking
it
to
had
one
to
of
have
you
been
though.
CJ.
It might have been Patrick. So I was walking
Patrick.
out of gym. Patrick or Jameson. I feel like those were the ones where it might have been. But walking out of gym class down a hallway. It doesn't really matter which one.
Mhm.
And I'm like walking backwards so I can talk to my friend. And you everybody walks on the right side of the hall. I'm still walking on the right side of the hall, even though I'm backwards. And I go to turn around, floppy armed, and let's just say my hand tapped a woman's crotch, and I felt very bad about it.
I remember this story.
I didn't like.
I don't
It wasn't a
remember
big
this.
deal or anything. She was just startled for a second, and I was like, "I am so sorry," and then I
thought it was
left.
her butt.
No, because she was walking. She was walking in the opposite direction, and I turned as I passed her. Gave it a little tap.
Yup, just a little tippy tap.
Wait, Given, do you remember that year? Do you remember it was freshman year in history class where you caught me looking at a girl's butt?
I've caught a lot of people looking. Dude, Chris would always look at people's butts. He was so obvious about it too.
No, dude, you said you were gonna tell me.
I was joking. I would never do.
I was so scared.
Like he's gonna
I
do
was
it.
legitimately.
She's gonna know
was
that I think her
legitimately
butt's
spooked.
attractive.
Dude, people think that's like offensive. I'm like, what do you mean? Take compliment in that.
I got 2 stories about butts. One from high school and one actually from before I knew you guys. It was like, actually, it was 3rd grade or something.
Oh,
it was
God.
really young, okay? And there was a guy in my class, and he was obviously staring at someone's butt. And I'm like, dude, why are you staring at her butt? He's like, no, I was reading the back of her pants. And I'm like, oh, and I read the back of her pants, and I'm like, it doesn't take that long to read, because he was like tracking her with his eyes. But it was just funny. And then the thing with Chris is, I would always see this happening. When he wanted to check out a girl, he would be so not... He would be so
Not
obvious
discreet.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not discreet at all. Like, he might be sitting, facing the lunch table, but his head would be locked on the whole time. Direct eye contact with that booty or whatever he was checking out. And it was always funny.
This is the longest podcast we've ever
That's
done.
because we're pros.
Yeah.
I feel like this one isn't much of a story, but I'm going to say it anyway because I talked about tapping a woman. It's time to get to the boob. So, I'm Michelle. You guys both know her. I'm not gonna
Oh
say
yeah, I
her last
remember
name.
this. Yeah.
CJ knows what's happening.
Mhm.
But one day Michelle like touched my nipple or something. Just my chest in general, not
Yeah.
just the nipple, since I know people differentiate. And I was like, don't do that again. And she did it again. I'm like, if you do it one more time, I'm gonna grab yours. And that's exactly what happened.
Yep, I remember.
And then there was
Oh,
one
man.
other time where she did it and I did it again. But it was like a mutual joke thing. Until I sexually harassed her. No, I'm just kidding. But it was like
sexual
something
harassment?
where as a spectator you'd be like, what is going on there? But for us it was
Yeah.
just like, she's not gonna touch my nipple again, is she? And she did it.
Oh.
I'm like, you know what time it is.
Ding. Time for that homing missile of a hand. So, I think one of the funniest jokes that ever circled around the high school was the fact that Braden self-proclaimed himself to be the meme king of the high school.
Did that actually circulate around the high school?
No.
A little bit.
I was like, I
Although,
just know that
among
he claimed
certain
it to
groups,
me.
but not the whole high school. Oh,
Yeah.
Do you remember
It was with like
what?
our group, our friend group, a few other friend groups, and the theater people.
Yeah.
You remember the rap that people came up with?
What?
It was like SHS. It was something. It was a.
There's a
homecoming
rap?
Yeah.
About
wait,
Braden being the
no,
meme king?
No, not of Braden being the green.
Dude, I was about to get so excited. I was like,
That
how
would
did
have
I
been
not know about
awesome.
it?
I would have
I
actually
know.
liked that one. But this one was the one that went.
Oh,
Wait,
was
dude,
it- was
I
it-
could just make it now. Little funnel cake.
Was it one of BJ's cringy raps?
Yes. Either BJ or Miles. Do you remember Miles Davis? I think his last name was.
Why would you say
Yeah, I
that?
remember.
Shh. Nobody.
Wow, you
I'm
just-
not
wrong
cutting
guy.
that out.
Wrong guy.
That's the wrong guy. I don't even know what his
That's
last
the
name was, so
wrong.
it doesn't even
I was
matter.
just guessing. I really have no idea.
Okay, yeah, but
Um,
BJ for sure. He always made the cringiest raps, but since he was like a little
Low-key-
bit
He
popular.
was low key gay. What? I'm just kidding.
Okay, you don't need to be making
I'm joking.
accusations. Okay, but he was like a little popular, and like the popular kids liked him, and he hung out with them. And he would try to rap, and like all the popular kids would be like, "Oh, get it, BJ!" But everybody else would be like, "This is absolute garbage."
Yeah.
And what was worse is like the staff, I think, didn't know that it was garbage. So once he was like pulled out at a like a what was the last thing? When we're all in the bleachers and there's a thing happening.
Like a homecoming thing or something.
Yeah, something. And like he was called out to do a rap, and it was just cringy. And I'm like,
Yeah, I remember I covered my
Like-
ears.
everybody else knew it was bad except BJ and the popular kids and I guess the staff, or maybe they just didn't know. They're like, I think it's bad, but I'm not with the times, so
We'll try to be cool anyway. No, I was kidding.
yeah, it was.
I know.
It just wasn't that good. But. Yeah, I took my shot. Come at me, BJ, if you want to square up. I work out nowadays.
Just do a rap battle, dude.
As
Or
long
diss
as it's
tracks
not
back at each other.
impromptu. What's it called when you make it up on the spot?
Improv.
Freestyle.
As long as it's not freestyle, I
freestyle.
think I'd get him.
That's fair. That's
Okay,
fair.
what other high school stuff? I know there's so much stuff that happened in high
I'll
school.
talk about senior year.
I just threw my ball across
So-
the desk.
Senior year was probably the year I was like probably the happiest. All my classes were good. I had some friends I bulled with literally every single day. We did one of the best musicals that year. We did Sister Act, which was
pretty good.
CJ actually saw that
I
one.
did.
I did too.
Graduation. I have it written down as Liddy Titty. It was. Yeah. Senior year, I don't really have that many funny stories.
I don't have funny stories, but that's when I started popping off on the main stage, some might say. That's when I started getting physically active, and like I just knew a lot of people at that point, so it was like fun.
You got physically active.
Physically fit, boys. I was gonna say prom. CJ didn't go, rip him, but we can talk about prom. Do we talk about prom? There's some stuff that I've talked with you about, and I don't know if we've talked about it on podcast. Okay,
we
so we
have not
haven't
talked about prom at all. I'm not going to talk about junior prom because that was lame.
Okay, that was the one thing I want to premise this. So the people in the class under us, so the juniors, when we were seniors, they were the people that would plan prom. So every year, instead of the graduating class planning it, it was the juniors. And so the juniors made the best prom possibly that the high school has ever had. Which is just kind of, I always feel bad for them because they're like, our prom was the best. But I'm like, but it wasn't your senior year, so big rip for you guys.
The thing is, I went to the senior prom. I went to prom the year after we graduated, and it was pretty good.
I was told it wasn't as good as our.
It was not as good as senior prom.
Yeah.
Junior prom was the year we were on the boat.
Was that okay?
It was kind. I mean, it was okay.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
But I went by myself.
Yeah, that
so like
makes
it was kind of
fun.
lame, and I kind of wish I didn't had not have gone.
I remember you complaining about that.
Yeah, but the prom was lit. Okay, so first off, extreme amounts of blow up stuff. They had like you could get in a ball and roll down a lane. There was the blow up obstacle course. They had a blow up wrecking ball thing that you could whip at your friends. I think
blow up dolls.
Sex dolls, other sex dolls. No, they had green screen like photo stuffs that you could do and like get the picture sent to you.
Did they have like sumo wrestling or whatever it was?
I don't.
Yeah.
Did they?
There was a pie eating contest. I know that much.
There was a pie eating
Braden
contest.
told me about that.
Won.
Exactly.
Braden always says he won, but he didn't. It was Bradley McClendon. Bradley McClendon has never lost in his life, and Braden's a loser. Compete. Listen, it doesn't matter.
There?
No idea.
I don't even think he was there.
I was just memeing on you because you're always like, I'm the pie eating competition winner.
Well, I mean, it was actually I that won, so.
Wait, senior prom? Yeah, he was there.
Yeah, I think he was, but I was memeing on you.
But yeah, I did win.
Yeah, there was pie eating contest.
No, not a video. There's a picture in the yearbook of me like with my hands up and my mouth full after I just won. It's awesome.
How many pie was it? Whoever ate the pie the fastest?
It was just one small pie, and it was whoever did it fastest.
Yeah,
it was a little disappointing, but it was still fun. It was a fun activity to have there.
They had
tables with just piles of candy on them. They had never-ending pizzas, so much so that when I left that night, I brought 2 pizzas, like whole pizzas, home with me. They had a bull to ride, like a mechanical bull. I beat that mechanical bull. Still proud of myself. They had an illusionist. Braden got hypnotized.
I remember hearing about that.
Man, it was just all around one of the best nights of my life.
It was fun.
It was just imagine just see my thing was as well. So
wait, hold on. Before you do that, this is post prom. This is the party after the actual dance.
Oh yeah, the actual prom was like it was pretty fun, but post prom was the best. Okay, I haven't even talked about real prom because it was lame in comparison. Like there's dancing and stuff, which I love dancing, but just the amount of stuff we got to do at post prom was lit.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say though? So the part that made it most fun to me was when the illusionist came, everyone left the gym except me, Jameson. I'm spacing on her name. She works at a public pool that I go to pretty often. and like 3 other people. And so we just got the whole gym and everything I just listed, minus the illusionist, to ourselves for like 40 minutes straight, possibly more. It was epic.
Why didn't you just go to the hypnotist?
Did you just hear what I got to do? I am very happy with my decision. I got to just absolutely mess around in an open gym full of fun stuff, just solely with my friends.
Isn't that when Jameson took the video of you, like...
Yes.
Yes,
that's when the classic video of me dancing.
Okay, yeah,
That's where it's from. Yeah. Very fun times.
I remember that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, like... The real prom was just like dinner, and then you went downstairs, took off your coat, and like danced. That was pretty much it, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, real prom was pretty boring. Like the actual prom event was literally just to eat and dance,
which was still fun.
It was fun. It's just in comparison to post prom.
All right, guys. I have all my stories done. I don't know about you guys.
Well,
listen, I didn't even come in here with stories.
Exactly. Me either.
Well, is there anything else we want to talk about? Because we're already an hour and a half in.
Yeah, about so. I mean, I guess we can just end it. Other stories, if we feel like saying them, they'll come up during a podcast, so.
I have to pee super bad, and I'm hungry.
I have had to pee for a while, too.
I was smart.
And Brayden, can you quote what I'm going to do?
Gingerly touch your penis with 2 fingers on one hand.
That's how I always go pee. Normally I do wash my hands all the way, but like if I need to come back to the room, I just rinse them. Because
why don't you be a smart guy and
2
like
fingers.
use like no.
So just pull down my pants and just just thrust into the urinal and let it go down.
And like wiggle with your like fingers
See,
covered by your shirt. There you go.
I would be asserting too much dominance at that point.
But then
like
your
the
shirt's
building
covered
might
in
just
like
collapse.
No.
Okay. I think the podcast is done, boys.
All right, that's it.
So what are we gonna leave you with, guys? Appreciate your high school years. Try to have fun.
Know that the grades matter, but like nothing else matters. So just have fun.
Go to prom.
Go to prom.
Yeah, CJ didn't go to prom, and honestly, one of the saddest things
we
for
always
CJ.
talked about CJ. Do you regret it? We always said, "Hey CJ, you'll regret not going to prom." Do you regret not going to prom?
I regret it.
Like he does, just because like he's heard what I've said and how much we were all like, it was awesome.
Regretful CJ. Regretful CJ.
You should see my face. I'm just kind
It's depression.
of a little bit in the chest.
A little bit. It's hitting him.
Here, can we throw some F's in the chat for CJ?
Press F to pay respects.
Yes.
All right.
But yeah, have fun, guys.
Am I actually gonna
Hope you
am
guys-
I actually
What's
gonna
up?
be able to say my line this time?
You're gonna say your line.
Okay, so
Say
you
it.
guys say your goodbyes.
Goodbye.
Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you next time.
See ya.